come down your way. Wave them on as they come down, and they'll wave back to you. As we get ready for action, just about another lap to go here, parade fashion, and we'll be ready for the start of tonight's big event here on the Collins Chevy Geo Radio feature.
Dean, they are beginning the pace lap now. The pace lap now beginning, and 1 lap to the green flag. 100 laps, and it's, excuse me, 2 more laps now, they are telling us. 2 more laps to the green flag. And the big question tonight is it man or machine that will win this event tonight? One of the hottest days ever experienced, which has transformed into one of the hottest nights of the year so far. Temperatures ranging up into the 90s. And then inside those race cars, it is way above 110, 115 degrees.
Right you are, Frank. Had an opportunity to talk to some of the front row leaders earlier tonight, and they said that they have provided a little extra venting to try and bring some of that air inside the car. But as far as the machine itself, they feel very confident in the setup that they have as far as the radiators and general cooling system is concerned.
Last week it was Joe Williamson Jr. who held off Chuck Winders to claim the feature event victory. It was only a 30-lap contest. Chuck Winders in car number 8, starting inside the front row with tonight's fastest qualifying time, is on the pole position right now. 1 lap to the green flag. 1 lap now they are giving to the field. 1 lap and will be racing in the Shoney's Derby City 100. The big another milestone in Chuck Winders' racing career is Chuck has never won a major race here at the Louisville Motor Speedway. This could be the night for him. Everything indicates so, turning in the faster qualifying time tonight, and then starting by virtue of that inside row number 1 on the pole position, he won't have as much traffic to contend with as someone starting near the back. The field gets double stacked in the middle of the back straightaway. All eyes of attention now will go to our flagman, David Geiger, as he looks the field over and set to put the green flag out on this Shoney's Derby City 100. It's Winders and Williamson, a pair of W's on the front row, and they get the green flag. The green flag is out, and the race is officially underway, the Shoney's Derby City 100.
As expected, Chuck Winders pulls out to the early lead. Scott Toohey grabbing the inside groove as he pulls to the inside of Joe Williams. We come around for lap number 1 in this big 100-lap event. Chuck Winders is out in front. Scott Toohey is now taking a solid hold on 2nd place. Joe Williamson running 3rd, and currently holding down 4th, the number 48 of Leon Lewis.
At 5th, it'll be Chuck Barnes, followed by Tom Dealey, an impressive qualifying run, his first appearance here at Louisville Motor Speedway. He's right now racing side by side with Charlie Pierce in car number 7 as they whip off into turns 1 and 2. Car number 99, George Koch, also in that top 10, and 2-time winner of this event, Wade Johnson. As again, the racing right now is for the number 6 spot between Charlie Pierce and Tom Dealey.
That's side-by-side racing that we see at the moment. The rest of the field getting pretty much stretched out into single file action. As looks like the number 7 did take over Charlie Pierce did take over that position away from the number 15 machine of Tom Dealey.
That was pretty much everyone's strategy, Dean, is to finally find yourself into a single file line. It's a long race. It's 100 laps, and you don't want to do any side-by-side racing unless you have to. As again, it's pretty much a freight train of 24 cars clicking off lap number 5 right now and moving into turns 1 and 2. Chuck Winders opening up an advantage of about 6 to 7 car lengths, moving down into turns 3 and 4. Your 2nd place running car right now is Scott Toohey, and then the number 53 of Joe Williamson Jr., who started outside that front row but has not competed on 100 laps in the Sportsman division yet. Leon Lewis, who had a great run a couple of years ago in this event, is still currently in the number 4 spot. And Chuck Winders would love to get a victory in this race as well, as he is currently at 5th place, moving off into turns 1 and 2. Dean Taylor?
We have 7 laps down in this event, Frank Scott. Chuck Winders, as you said, has opened up a fairly marginal lead, but Scott Toohey seems to be able to catch him a little bit on the corners, but then Chuck pulls away, headed down the straightaways.
Battle for 4th into turns 1 and 2, and it's Chuck Barnes looking to the inside of Leon Lewis. He'll pull the trigger coming out of turn number 2 as they work the back straightaway, and it looks like Barnes has excellent track position right now on Leon Lewis. Maybe Leon ought to think about passing Chuck back at a later portion of the event as he falls back to the number 5 position right now. Give a call to Marshall Jaggers. He's got his hands full right now, working out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. He's leading a freight train along the inside of Les Vogt in car number 22, and actually a group of rookies working out of the 4th turn area and down the front straightaway. Joe Lewis in the number 44 in a recently built car out of the Procrafter shops. Also approaching the top 10 or inside the top 10 right now. Les Vogt turned in an incredibly good qualifying effort. However, he has fallen back some in the early portions of this contest now. 11 laps on the board. It's Chuck Winders, your leader, followed by Scott Toohey. Your second place running car is Joe Williamson Jr. Then Chuck Barnes running at 5th, going 6th, Leon Lewis. 7th to Charlie Pierce. 8th right now to Wade Johnson. 9th to the 15 of Tom Dealey. And the number 99 of George Koch.
Well, a gentleman I thought we'd see more out of, although it is still early in this event, is the number 15 of Tom Dealey. His first night of racing here with us this season, but in qualifying, he had the car hooked up as he put in a very impressive time and finished 3rd fastest on the field tonight. So it's still early on, and he may be kind of reserving himself, but he's dropped back a few positions now, back towards the back of the top 10.
Danny Miller now 1 lap down to the field, as well as the number 17 of Bill Wallace. As they work down the back straightaway, the leaders now coming out of turn 4, completing lap number 15. And it looks like Fred Kalin is having some handling problems as well. Word from one of our spotters is that the 2-time winner of this Derby City 100, Wade Johnson, who started a little further back than he'd like, is really coming up through the field right now and is approaching the top 5 right now. He's right behind Leon Lewis and Charlie Pierce, so he's right now 7th on the field, Wade Johnson is, and right now looking to the inside of the number 7 of Charlie Pierce as they work down the back straightaway, and again around a slower automobile. That's Bill Wallace out of Okolona, Kentucky. Dean Taylor?
We have 17 laps down in this event. The margin was narrowed there for a moment between your race leader Chuck Winders and Scott Toohey as they approach that lap traffic. And Scott's still not letting him get too far away as we come around for lap number 18. So Chuck Winders is still out in front. Scott Toohey running 2nd. Joe Williamson holding down 3rd. It's Chuck Barnes 4th. And the number 48 of Leon Lewis is currently running 5th. Frank Scott?
Chuck Winders is really the decision maker at this point in the contest because they come around to the slower traffic to put them 1 lap down. Scott Toohey's letting Chuck Winders make all the decisions and punch all the holes in the traffic as they weave their way through this fantastic field of Winston Martin Landscaping Sportsman automobiles. Again, Winders looking now to the inside of Bill Bird, fine driver, a stellar performance in the Oval Bomber division in 1990 here at the Speedway, but no longer on the lead lap in the Winston Martin Landscaping Sportsman event of the year here at the Shoney's Derby City 100. Scott Toohey has closed the margin now on Chuck Winders down to about 3 car lengths moving into turns 1 and 2. Your 3rd place running car of Joe Williamson Jr. is currently in the number 3 slot, and he too has caught up with Toohey and Winders. And I think the cause of that is the further Winders digs into the racing field, the heavier the traffic gets. Things aren't going so well right now for the 99 of George Koch. And it looks like his Collins Chevrolet Geo, Thornton's Gas and Food Marts, and Banquet Table Buffet has apparently lost an engine here on the front straightaway. The car is slowing and headed back towards the pit area. So a shame to see the 2-time mini stock champion George Koch out of contention here early inside the first 25 laps of this contest. Also, Danny Miller has gone back to the pit area as well. So already the attrition rate, as well as maybe this temperature and climate in the Ohio Valley, is taking its toll on this field, Dean.
Right, you are, Frank. In fact, earlier we saw the number 19 of Bo Eames. He's already gone back into the pit as well. So we've had at least 3 cars go out early here in the running of the Shoney's Derby City 100. Your Collins Chevy Geo radio feature race tonight here on 62 WTMT. We're 25 laps down, 1/4 of the way through tonight's racing action here for the Winston Martin Landscaping Sportsman Division.
Battle for 6th in the middle of the back straightaway, and it's Wade Johnson looking to the inside of Charlie Pierce. He'll put Pierce away coming out of the 4th turn and set sail on the number 48 of Leon Lewis moving into turns 1 and 2. That's the battle for 5th place right now, and as time time goes on, Wade Johnson's car goes faster and faster. And again, it looks like Johnson has a good inside advantage on Lewis coming out of turn 4, and they'll race together on the front straightaway and into turns 1 and 2. The Pro Crafter, CM Potts Garage, and Jesse Ford Truck Rentals Racing Chevrolet Camaro is really on the move. As the leaders click off lap number 28, moving into turns 1 and 2, we've got a 3-car shootout for the number 1 spot as they put Donnie Sullivan down a lap. Dean Taylor?
Yeah, Chuck Winters moving around to the outside of Donnie Sullivan. Thought for a moment there that Scott Toon was going to be able to go around him, but I think you're right in your observation, Frank, that right now Scott's just satisfied with letting Chuck be a blocker for him. Kind of open the path and let him go through, because 100 laps is going to be a battle of brain and bronze. The smartest driver undoubtedly will come out on top in tonight's event. Will
it be youth, or will it be experience, or will it be the best mechanics or the best made car? That's what the Shoney's Derby City 100 is all about. Now 30 laps into this contest, the number 8 of Chuck Winters still pacing this field. And is he doing exactly that, pacing the field or racing? Scott Toohey glued to his rear deck lid, and is Chuck Winters showing all his cards this early in the contest? Only time will tell, as 31 laps are up on the board in the big win of the year for the Winston Martin Landscaping Sportsman Division, the Shoney's Derby City 100. Joe Williamson Jr. has fallen back about 6 car lengths off the rear deck lid of our second place car of Scott Toohey. Chuck Barnes is a real dark horse right now. He's not been so spectacular early in this event, but right now sits all by himself in the number 4 spot. Thing about it is that red-hot Camaro of Wade Johnson's, who's currently in the number 5 spot, is slowly reeling Chuck Barnes in, moving into the first and second turn, Dean Taylor.
Yep, Wade Johnson is narrowing the margin gradually as he holds down 5th comfortably right now, as lap 34 goes down in the books here in the Shoney's Derby City 100. Well, your race leader is Chuck Winters. He's still out in front. He has definitely got this race in mind to put the trophy on the mantle, and also to put that check from Dave Everett, right way grinding saw and 2 in his pocket, because if he should win tonight, he will pick up the first to win 4 bonus.
I tell you, Dean, it's one of those things, though, that anything can happen. We're only 35 laps into this event. And I tell you, it's up to the engine and all the components on that race car to do their job, and then hope someone doesn't come spinning off the track and into your path. Problems on Charlie Pierce in the number 7, and it looks like smoke displayed from the back of the car, and he too is headed back towards the pit area, looking just like George Koch's car did some 10 laps ago. And it looks like the attrition rate has bitten another top contender, Dean.
Right, sure. It looks like the weather definitely taking their toll on the cars tonight. The heat and the humidity quite high, and you can just imagine that it's just twice as high out on the racing track tonight.
Chuck Winters looks to the inside of the number 91 of Marshall Jaggers, as well as Joe Lewis in car number 44 as they move down the back straightaway. These are some heavy hitters here, but Winters is just hitting too strong tonight. Now to turn 4, he looks to the inside of Marshall Jaggers. Jaggers is now 1 lap down to the field as they move off into turns 1 and 2 at lap number 39. Jaggers comes right back to battle to try to stay on the lead lap, but it looks like Chuck's just got too much for him. Again, they are side by side, and this is the first time tonight it looks like Chuck Winters has had any minor difficulty lapping cars, and he is among some of the faster ones out there tonight, as he has now firmly put Jaggers away, along with Joe Lewis in the middle of the back straightaway. Scott Toohey trying to do likewise as they work out of turn 4. Lewis gets a little bit loose, but no contact made among those leaders. Joe Williamson Jr. now trying to slip past, and does so on the inside of Marshall Jaggers. Williamson is currently our 3rd place automobile, and now he'll set sail on Joe Lewis to try and put him 1 lap down as well. Your leader after 42 laps is Chuck Winters, running at 2nd, the number 38 of Scott Toohey. Going 3rd, it's Joe Williamson Jr., followed by Chuck Barnes in the number 5, and Wade Johnson in car number 09, who is moving in on him. That is Wade Johnson. 9 cars left, though, on the lead lap, and now the cream rises to the top, Dean Taylor.
Right, you are, Frank Scott, as we continue the action here. 43 laps down in the book. Danny Miller has made his way back out on the track as the racing action continues here at the track of the 90s, the Louisville Motor Speedway. Right now, your leader, as we have been telling you, is the number 8 of Chuck Winters in the McDonald's racing machine. He is out in front. Scott Toohey has now dropped a few lengths back. He's back about 10 car lengths, we'll say, as they head into turns 3 and 4 and make their way across the start-finish line for lap number 45.
We're 5 away from the right way grinding saw and tool bonus here, and I believe Scott Toohey has made his mind up. Let's let Winders take the bonus at the halfway mark. I want that 100th lap around this Louisville Motor Speedway. Lap number 46 going into the books, and it's about a 3-second separation now between first and second place. Scott Toohey has taken all the pressure off of Winders for the moment right now. The number 53 of Joe Williamson Jr., he runs pretty much by himself, although trying to get through some of this slower lap traffic. And it's very, very dangerous indeed if you're on the lead lap trying to get past some of this heavy traffic going off into turns 1 and 2. The battle right now is for fourth, as Joe Williamson Jr. got a little bit loose in the second turn area of the racetrack, has allowed Chuck Barnes, the fourth place car, to close in on his rear deck lid, and the fifth place car of Wade Johnson, who's been shooting up through this field to create a 3-car race for the lead. Right now, though, it's the number 15 of Tom Dealey, his machine spinning in the 4-turn area of the speedway, and the red flag comes out at lap number 48, just 2 laps short of that right way grinding saw and tool halfway bonus.
Right, you are, Frank Scott. In fact, we didn't get a chance to tell the folks in the radio audience about that, and we'll tell them more about the right way grinding saw and tool halfway bonus after we pause for this commercial message here on 62 WTMT.
Hey, have you heard about the new kids on the block?
Okay, Carl, I'm going to change tapes.
And the Shoney's Derby City 100. Again, we didn't get a chance to tell the radio audience about that halfway bonus, so won't you clue them in on that real quick, Frank?
Okay, once again, the Dave Embry and the employees of Right Way Grinding Saw and Tool Company are posting a $200 bonus to the leader of lap number 50, the halfway point of this Shoney's Derby City 100. We are 3 laps away from collecting that bonus. One of those drivers will collect that bonus. Odds are we'll be on the lucky number 8 right now. Again, the word from scoring and timing right now that unofficially car number 15, Tom Dealey, is in 6th place right now. Leon Lewis running at 7th, and Darrell Hadley in car number 12 is running 8th and on the lead lap. But those 3 positions right now remain unofficial.
As we get ready to come back underway with green flag action. The cars making their way around, probably another parade lap it looks like before we'll get things back going here at the track tonight.
As again, they get double stacked down the back straightaway. Again, these automobiles are representing a very high investment in equipment and racing talent out on the speedway, and they want to make sure that they do get the oil dried up as best as they can before they go back to green flag racing. These aren't your typical bombers. This is the Winston Martin Landscaping Sportsman Division, and it serves as a stepping stone between the Oval Bomber Division and our Winston Bush Late Model Division. And truly, this class of automobile, this type of driver, indicates drivers on their way up to the top of stock car racing here in Kentuckiana. A stepping stone to the big time, so to speak. And the number 8 of Chuck Winders is your leader. They're double stacked down in turns 3 and 4, getting set for the restart of the Shoney's Derby City 100.
The car's winded up coming out of turn number 4. Dave Geiger looks him over and does not let him go. Apparently he sees something he doesn't like, so not to start yet. But this next time around, hopefully we'll get things ready for the green flag to drop. Chuck Winders and Scott Toohey on the front row. They're going to be setting the pace for the field. Row 2 on the inside is the lap car of number 44, Joe Lewis. To his outside, Joe Williamson. Then row 3 on the inside, you've got Chuck Barnes. And to his right, it's Marshall Jaggers. Those are your top 6 cars as far as starting purposes are concerned. As we come around for the green flag and it drops.
It's a beautiful restart, and the field is back off into turns 1 and 2. Chuck Winders has the better part of the racetrack, and the battle for second now begins in the middle of the back straightaway. Toohey slipped through that oil drive up in the first and second turn, allowing Joe Williamson Jr. to come up along the inside and battle him for the number 2 spot as they wheel off into turns 1 and 2. Don't forget the battle at 3rd and 4th between Chuck Barnes and Wade Johnson as they scoot down the back straightaway. Again, a side-by-side battle for the number 2 spot, and Joe Williamson Jr. pulls up along the inside of Scott Toohey and takes over the number 2 spot. There's trouble down in the 3rd and 4th turn. Tom Dealey again in the number 15 spinning around. He pulls down to the infield, and let's see, the Halfway point right now, and right way grinding saw and tool bonus of $200 goes out to the firefighter from Pleasure Ridge Park, Kentucky, Chuck Winders, collecting the halfway point bonus put up by right way grinding saw and tool. As we were documenting before, the 15 of Tom Dealey slid in between the third and fourth turn. He pulls down to the infield and out of harm's way. We remain green flag racing, and Chuck Winders is $200 richer.
Already, and the race is only halfway run. We're 51 coming up on 52 laps now, down in the books.
A lot.
Winders is out in front. Joe Williamson is running second. He's about 3 car lengths back behind him. Then you have to go about 8 car lengths before you find the now third running number 38 of Scott Tewey.
A lot of things happening there. Tom Dealey spinning in between the third and fourth turn. The right way grinding saw and tool halfway bonus being paid, and Joe Williamson Jr. taking over the number 2 spot from Scott Tewey for the first time in this event, Dean Taylor.
Right, you are, Frank's got the action happening fast and furious here in the Shoney's Derby City 100. You're calling Chevy Geo Radio feature race of the evening here in 62 WTMT Louisville.
And
4 laps now down in the books for your leader, number 8, Chuck Winders. He is possibly eyeing that victory in the first to win 4 bonus from right way grinding saw and tool. But Joe Williamson in car number 53 not letting him get too far away. It looks like the cars running 1 and 2 just the way they started this event, Frank Scott.
shades of 1990. Scott Tewey was strong in the early portions of this 100-lapper 1 year ago, but faded about the halfway point. Again, it looks as though that he looks like, again, he could be fading as he is not keeping up pace with the first and second place automobiles as they move down the back straightaway. And the number 5 of Chuck Barnes still has his hands full with the number 09 of Wade Johnson, the 2-time winner of this event, as they collect the lap number 57 this time by. It's Chuck Winders who collected the $200 bonus from right way grinding saw and tool. The big question remaining throughout the final portion of this event, will he get the other bonus? The first to win 4 bonus from right way grinding saw and tool, paid to the first driver to win 4 features in the 1991 racing season in this Sportsman division. A new player in this game though, and the number 53 of Joe Williamson Jr. looks much, much stronger than Scott Tewey did early in this contest.
Right, you are, Frank Scott, and we're 59 laps down in this event. Joe Williamson not letting Chuck Winders get too far away. Scott Tewey has dropped back. He's in third, but he's there all by himself. You have to go a ways back about 12 car lengths before you find the number 5 of Chuck Barnes. They do have a lap car in between them. Wade Johnson still holding down 5th. He is right on the bumper of Chuck Barnes in that number 5 machine as they head into turns 1 and 2.
Down the back straightaway, and I believe if Wade Johnson had anything for Chuck Barnes, he would have gave it to him, because it's just starting to get late in this event, and if Wade Johnson hopes to be a three-peater, so to speak, he's wasting way too much time trying to get around Chuck Barnes if he in fact has the power to do it right now. 61 laps completed, and the firefighter for the city of Louisville, who resides in Pleasure Ridge Park, Kentucky, the former Kentucky Bourbon softball fielder, a left fielder, car number 8, Chuck Winders, pacing this field out of turn 4 and coming around to complete lap number 63. Joe Williamson Jr. on his rear deck lid now. And I tell you what, Dean, I remembered the past Derby City 100s, and never have we had a 2-car shootout as we see right now for the number 1 spot with less than 40 laps to go in the event.
This is definitely one of the more action-packed Derby City shootouts 100s, as Frank Scott has said. And we got trouble up here in turns number 3 and 4.
Involving one of the cars still on the lead lap. That was Darrell Hadley in car number 12. And it looks as though all the tires still hold air. And there's trouble up in turn number 3 and 4. Oil definitely must be on the racetrack as the number 09 of Wade Johnson hit the outside retaining wall. The 44 of Joe Lewis and the 91 of Marshall Jaggers were all involved in some minor skirmishes up in the 3rd and 4th turn. And again, it looked as though perhaps oil was laid on the racetrack.
Right, you are, Frank Scott, as the number 09 of Wade Johnson collected the wall pretty heavy just before the pit entrance there, up in between turns 3 and 4. We have, looks like 64 laps on the board, although the red flag was issued, but I believe that has been downgraded to a yellow, so a yellow flag comes out on the action here at the track.
Well, I tell you what, Dean, in addition to you bringing in this fine equipment from WTMT 620 on your AM dial, The Courier-Journal reporter Jim Terhune is here tonight, and look forward to reading his report on this Shoney's Derby City 100 in tomorrow morning's newspaper as well. So for those of you listening at home or in your car to the live flag-to-flag coverage of the Collins Chevrolet Geo Race of the Week, the Shoney's Derby City 100, you can also read all about it in the Courier-Journal tomorrow morning because, again, the Courier-Journal reporter Jim Terhune is visiting here tonight, putting together one whale of a report, I'm sure.
9 of Wade Johnson. So we'll be looking to that portion of the field for a possible shootout to see who will take over sole possession of 5th place as the cars continue their parade laps. Chuck Winters pacing himself out in front of the rest of the field at the moment, and Joe Williamson pulls it up alongside. Scott Toohey bringing the field up as well.
So, I mean,
It looks like the last parade lap before we get back to green flag action here, Frank Scott.
Good thing, something was brought to my attention, and I spoke that going into the first and second turn, Chuck Winters had the more desirable track positioning because you can see where the oil absorbent is in the first and second turn. But look down in the third and fourth turn and look what Chuck Winters is going to have to drive through if he stays on the inside. So it looks like it may equal out, and we sure should see a shootout for the number 1 spot when the green flag comes back out on the Shoney's Derby City 100.
They're heading into turns 3 and 4, making their way now out of the chute. Dave Geiger looking him over, but not letting them go.
Joe Williamson Jr. lagged up just a bit coming out of turn 4. David Geiger, our flagman, didn't like the way they looked, and we're looking for a good, fair, even restart. And the pressure just got to the number 22 of Les Vogt as he spun in the 4-turn area. He'll rejoin the lineup, Dean Taylor.
64 laps down in this 100-lap event, the big event of the year for the Winston Martin Landscaping Sportsman Division. And tonight it is coming to you flag-to-flag coverage here on the Collins Chevy Geo Radio feature here on 62 WTMT. Don't forget, race fans, this upcoming Monday night, a special edition of Kentucky Auto Motorsports Live. Frank Scott and myself will be coming to you from the studios at WTMT. And the reason the Monday night this week, because we've got a great Tuesday night show here at the Louisville Motor Speedway. We're going to have, of course, the Figure 8 division in action for you. And coming in from Florida, the fantastic Joey Chitwood Thrill Show. That's going to be happening this upcoming Tuesday night here at Louisville Motor Speedway. So that pushes Kentucky Auto Motorsports Live back to a Monday night starting time at 8 o'clock.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joey Chitwood may tell us how to get up on 2 wheels and drive a car, but Joey Williamson Jr. is going to show us perhaps how to get around Chuck Winters with less than 40 laps to go here. They're double stacked again down in the 3rd and 4th turn. David Geiger still doesn't like that front row, and he'll give them one more warm-up lap. Again, it's very, very important. A lot on the line here. Not only the $1,000 first place prize money, a $500 bonus for the Right Way Grinding Saw and Tool first to win 4 bonus, and a lot of other things. Championship points on the line, and we're looking for a good, fair, even restart. As again, they're double stacked in the 3rd and 4th turn. David Geiger, our flagman, looks the field over as they come out of turn 4, and the green flag is back out. And off into turns 1 and 2. A little contact between Winters and Joe Williamson Jr., and it looks like Winters' machine was struck from the right rear. We hope that a tire maybe didn't get cut down here. We'll continue to monitor the situation on Winters' machine and continue to watch if that right rear tire is still holding air. But he and Joe Williamson Jr. touched a bunch coming down this front straightaway, just taking the green flag. The field's out of turn 4. They'll complete lap 66, and it's Chuck Winters out front by a car length and a half over the 53 of Joe Williamson Jr. Scott Toohey goes 3rd. At 4th, way back, is Darrell Hadley, and then the number 5 of Chuck Barnes. Now, Barnes gets around Hadley and takes over the number 4 spot, but this is further back than halfway in the lineup right now.
And Chuck Barnes is moving very frantically. He's already advanced 6 positions from where he started when the green flag came back out. And he continues to pace his way through the field. He's got a lot of lap traffic ahead of him. But I don't think Chuck Winters right now has to worry about Chuck Barnes. He's more so got a problem with Joey Williamson on his tail and Scott Toohey right behind them. Those two having a very close margin as they head down the back straightaway, and we come up on lap number 69.
And it's the Tom Dealey show up in the 1st and 2nd turn. Once again, this car has brought out 3 caution flags here tonight. The number 15 losing the back bumper off of his white Camaro up in the first and second turn portion of the Speedway. Tom Dealey not having much luck here tonight in the Shoney's Derby City 100. We're under caution after 69 laps of competition. We're 31 away from a finish here tonight in the Shoney's Derby City 100 here this evening, the most important race of the year for the under Louisville Motor Speedway racing rules. Any races over 50 laps, the caution laps count, and now 71 laps have been counted. When the green flag comes back out, they'll score yet another lap. The number 8 of Chuck Winders, the dominator in this event, but Joe Williamson Jr. may have something for him as they move down the back straightaway, set for the restart. A very important restart once again. The number 38 of Scott Toohey at third place, and keep your eyes on the flying 5 of Chuck Barnes.
He has definitely made an impressive show for himself here as the cars wind it up once again, coming out of the chute in turn 4, and the green flag is out. We're back underway with racing action. Chuck Winders moving on to the early lead. Scott Toohey taking advantage of the inside groove as he pulls to the inside of Joe Williamson, headed down the back straightaway.
Scott Toohey trying to do what Joe Williamson Williamson did to him on one of the earlier restarts, and cost him a position change as they move off into turns 1 and 2. Scott Toohey in the number 38, the Churchill Downs Racing Chevrolet, takes over the number 2 spot from Joe Williamson Jr. Williamson drops back to third right now, and they're all in single file out of turn 4 and down the front straightaway. But it's Chuck Winders, once again out of Pleasure Ridge Park, Kentucky, the dominator in this Shoney's Derby City 100.
Dominator is true as he has led every lap of this race as we come up on the 3/4 mark, 3/4 of the way through the event. Scott Toohey back where he was earlier tonight in the Churchill Downs Racing Camaro. He is holding down second. Chuck Barnes pulls to about, let's say about a 4-car length lead over Scott Toohey. Joe Williamson back in third, holding it down, and Chuck Barnes still fourth as he continues to make his way through the field.
Was it a strategy move on the part of Scott Toohey to cool it towards the mid portion of this event, hold his cards, and then make a strong run at the end? That question is about to be answered now as the field works out of turn 4, as Toohey still lies about 3-4 car lengths behind our leader, Chuck Barnes, moving off into turns 1 and 2. Williamson still in the thick of things, as again there is about 3 to 4 car lengths separating the top 3 cars. Chuck Barnes is around everyone except Marshall Jaggers and Leon Lewis before he can battle with the top 3 cars over the final portion of this event. 70 laps in the books here tonight at the track of the 90s, Louisville Motor Speedway. Dean Taylor?
Well, strategy might have something to do with Scott Toohey, but I think luck of the draw had something to do with it as well. He was able to start on the inside of row 2 on this last restart. That gave him the inside groove that he needed to pull to the inside of Joe Williamson and take over sole position of second. And we are 79 laps down now, working on number 80 as the cars make their way into turns 3 and 4. Your top 3 cars are together. You've got Chuck Winders out in front, Scott Toohey running second, Joe Williamson third, and then back about 20 car lengths you find the Chuck Barnes in car number 5.
What you don't want to see is a caution flag period, especially if you're Scott Toohey right now. There's problems on the number 5 car of Chuck Barnes. It looks like the left rear tire is going low, and the Robert Hobart Trucking Company Racing Camaro could be headed back towards the pit area as he now spins it in the 4th turn area. He just flat run out of time. This will cost Scott Toohey. If the yellow flag comes out, and it does, the red flag comes out, what this will do is cost Scott Toohey, because Toohey will now have the less desirable restarting position given the conditions of the track in the 1st and 2nd turn right now. This could have handed Joe Williamson Jr. back the 2nd place position, but we'll only know
12 machine, and once again you've got all top 5 cars in a row.
I tell you what, Donnie Sullivan probably cost himself another restart of the event, because he spun coming out of turn 4 and did not take the green flag with the rest of the cars. If he would have sat there, we would have gotten an automatic restart of the event. But he started his machine and took off, and will remain green flag racing because of that. But if he would have just sat there, he could have got an automatic restart. Tough luck for Donnie Sullivan, and you need to be thinking in these 100-lap events. 85 laps completed will make that 86 now, as the leaders are in single file moving into turns 1 and 2, and it has become a 3-car race for the lead. But the red-hot Camaro of Wade Johnson in car number 09 is slowly reeling the leaders in, but with only less than 15 laps to go in the event, the big question is, can he catch those leaders and then hope for a caution flag? As a matter of fact, if they get a caution flag right now, Wade Johnson would close right in, and we'd have a 4-car race for the lead. We'll make that 5 because Darrell Hadley in the number 12 is just about 3-car lengths behind Wade Johnson right now. Critical point of the race right now, going into the first and second turn and getting around a very quick Donnie Sullivan. Chuck Winders punching the holes in the traffic, and Joe Williamson Jr. along with Scott Toohey chasing him through, and they got around Donnie Sullivan successfully. A lot of right front corner damage on Sullivan's machine. Another car re-entering the track, car number 91, Marshall Jaggers. In addition to this 100-lap big special race tonight, it still pays championship points, and Marshall is at the head of the class in the Rookie of the Year standings here in 1991. He has returned to action in hopes of gaining valuable championship points. Dean Taylor?
Well, it looks like Wade Johnson continues to hard charge his number 0 time machine. Roughly guessing he's picking up about a quarter of a second each lap around. Rough guesstimating, mind you, but the leader is currently Chuck Winders, still out in front in car number 8. Joe Williamson about 2 car lengths behind him. Then about 4 car lengths back you find Scott Toohey. Then you have to go about 18 car lengths before you find the number 09 of Wade Johnson, who is holding down 4th. And he has Darrell Hadley right on his bumper in 5th, as we have 92 laps down and in the books.
Truth of the matter is we're running out of time, less than 8 laps away, and it has developed into a 2-car race for the lead. Chuck Winders and Joe Williamson Jr. down the front straightaway. Will experience win out over youth? We'll find out. As the 1989 late model champion, the 3-time most popular driver here at Louisville Motor Speedway in the late model division. For 1991, he's currently ranked in the top 10 in the NASCAR Winston Racing Series Mid-America region. Can he win his 4th feature of the year, the Shoney's Derby City 100, along with the right way grinding saw and tool bonus? We're coming up on 5 laps away from the answer to that question, Dean Taylor.
Right you are, as they come down out of turn 4 now, 95 laps down in the books. It's tight as the fast food shootout continues to occur here on the track of the 90s. It's the number 8 of Chuck Winders out in front of that McDonald's Racing Special, and the number 53 of Joe Williamson in the Tumbleweed Tex-Mex right on his tail as we come around 4 laps to go in this event.
I saw Joe Williamson Jr. do something on that last lap, and that was look to the outside of Chuck Winders, testing the waters on the outside groove, planning his strategy over the final 3 circuits of this event. As now 97 goes up on the board, Joe Williamson Jr. right on the back bumper of Chuck Winders as they move into turns 1 and 2. Dean Taylor, and now it looks like the 53 of Joe Williamson Jr. lost a little momentum, about car length and a half. And coming out of turn 4, 2 to go this time by Dean Taylor.
That's right, 98 down, 2 to go. Chuck Winders still out in front. Joe Williamson has dropped a little bit of a margin over that close second spot that he was holding down. As we come around for the white flag, Dave Geiger is going to let it fly on the field.
Less than 15 seconds away from the finish of this event, and Chuck Winders about to collect his first major race victory here at Louisville Motor Speedway as he moves down into turns 3 and 4. The Golden Arches out of turn 4 will take the Shoney's Derby City 100 here tonight at Louisville Motor Speedway. The Tumbleweed Tex-Mex Racing Chevrolet Camaro of Joe Williamson Jr. across the line at second, and it was the Churchill Downs Racing Chevrolet of Scott Toohey about 3 furlongs back in 3rd place here tonight, Dean Taylor.
Oh goodness, what a race indeed, what a race indeed. Dave Embry's got an IOU up here in the window. It's time to cut loose of the checksum because he did it. He picks up not only the halfway challenge for the right way grinding saw and tool halfway challenge, he's also the first to win 4 here in the Winston Martin Landscaping Sportsman Division. That means that Dave Embry has got a big check for this man right here. Give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves it.
Former Kentucky Bourbon softball player, a firefighter for the city of Louisville, 3-time late model driver, most popular driver, the 1989 late model champion, and currently in the top 10 in the Winston Racing Series Mid-America region. Here's Chargin' Chuck Winders.